right, welcome back to the Straight from the Hip podcast, and we're back with another episode. Okay, I'm excited for this one. Okay, we got the potential, or we got the, I don't know how to really say this. I'll say the guy that's running against Vivek Ramaswamy in the primaries in Ohio for governor. I think I got that right. Okay, I'm sure Casey will come up and correct me if I got it wrong. But I'm excited about this one. As soon as Casey announced he was running, I really wanted to bring him up, ask him some questions, get his perspective about the state of Ohio, what's going on, how he feels like it is run, how he feels like he could do as governor. And I'm super excited to hear what he has to say. So let me go ahead and bring him up and introduce him. Or I'll let him introduce himself. All right.
Howdy.
Hey, Casey.
Thanks for
nice.
having me.
Nice. We literally met just a couple minutes ago. I'm excited. I'm excited for the interview. So, tell the people a little bit about yourself. As far as how long you've been in Ohio. Now, I know a lot of this stuff has probably already been talked about, but some people might not have heard it. So, if you want to give a brief rundown.
Yeah, I grew up in Tiffin, Ohio. Family business, a little rural golf course, which was hard work. It's kind of like being fancy farmers and throw a party every day. You still have to look after a lot of land, a lot of equipment, everything. You learn a lot being in family business over those years. The men in the family going back, you can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it cut out a little bit. Hold on.
That's all right.
Sorry, you were coming in a little. I'm going to turn your mic volume down a little bit.
Okay. How's it going now? Yeah, not bad?
Yeah, we're good. It had like the echo cancellation on, and sometimes that can mess with the sound a little bit.
Yours is coming through actually really, really loud.
Really loud? Okay.
Yeah, really loud.
Yeah.
But, military and the family going back then. And it's just, it's the values that go back for America and taking responsibility for yourself and trying to build a better tomorrow and fight for a better tomorrow. And it's really that simple. Third generation Ohio State Buckeye. My parents went there, graduated in the mid-'70s. My granddad graduated there in 1950 on the GI Bill. And, that's just, that's home, being a Buckeye. My granddad didn't miss a home football game at Ohio State for darn near 50 years. And, beyond that, obviously I love cars, building cars. I worked hard after college to build my own little shop, doing restorations and historic race car preparation. That's where I also built my Omega car prototype. That's that high-efficiency diesel recyclable car concept that I got to speak about on the Tucker Carlson show early last year. Gets over 100 miles a gallon, 0 to 60, sub 5 seconds, beats my Dodge Viper, matches a Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive with a full charge. And per mile, it's got a lower carbon footprint on diesel than an EV does when you consider national average charging. Built a little watch company, sitting down here at my watch making desk. Here's one of my prototypes here. I just think that's important. You're an entrepreneur, you try to make it. And as you go through the years, you just look around and you see things that you think are not working well with the world at large. You see where rights are being taken away. You see where our lives are all getting more and more difficult because of absurdities coming out of Washington, D.C. and our own government. And you get to a point where you realize nobody's changed. Everybody still wants a community. Everybody wants to work. They want to have a future. They want to be able to afford a home. They want to be proud of their culture and their subcultures. And it comes a time when you get real sick and tired of everybody and everything that's taken all that away from you. And that time for me is this year when I look around and I observe what our options are in Ohio. And, I had somebody once say years ago to me that, you get the government you deserve in America. And I can tell you, I think Ohio and America deserves a whole lot better than our options right now. So this is a little oversimplified, but after years of looking at it and thinking and strategizing, I decided to take the leap of faith and specifically run against Vivek Ramaswamy in the Ohio Republican primary for governor.
Yeah, and I was wondering if anybody was actually going to come out and run against him. I grew up 36 out of the 40 years I've been alive. I grew up in Springfield, Ohio. So, I grew up in Springfield, Ohio, and that was like the big buzz last year in the November election, right before the election. And Vivek Ramaswamy came to Ohio, and I could see like the writing on the wall that he was gonna run for governor of Ohio. So,
did
hear
you
me okay?
I would turn it up just a little. Give yourself another 10,
Okay.
15% maybe.
Okay, hold on.
So
What about
just
now?
that's probably fine.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So you thought when he was running for president that he'd end up running for governor of Ohio?
Oh yeah, I told all my family, I told a lot of my friends, I said he's gonna run for governor of Ohio. I said and I think by the time he came to Springfield, he had dropped out of the presidential race. This was like right before the election, so like that he came to Springfield, Ohio, and I said, watch, I said I'm telling you, he's gonna run for governor in 2026, and I just had a feeling it was gonna happen.
Well, and the other thing, and I don't know this, I'm kind of just pulling out of thin air, but maybe all his fundraising back then and all his getting famous for president was a way to, maybe in one method or another that might be helping him right now, kind of preloading. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. The thing is I don't want to make this like a Vivek bashing session, but I think there's a lot of stuff to bash, and I noticed a lot of stuff last year, especially when he was running for president, when he was talking to the voters, and it was like in my opinion, a snake oil salesman trying to sell something to somebody, and I felt like it was just like he was selling this something that he really didn't even believe in. You remember those vacuum salesmen that would come to your house and sell vacuums and stuff?
I feel like that's being insulted to the vacuum salesman if you compare it.
Yeah, but that's how I felt. Like every time he spoke, I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't think this guy really believes what he's saying.
No, I don't think so either. This is a man who didn't become a Republican until he voted for himself. This is a man who allegedly was practicing DEI in his companies before he wrote a book about why it's so bad. Yeah, he's a flip-flopper at best. That man's here to ride whatever wave he can and buy his way in. And if you just look at him objectively and what he does and what he's all about, you go, are you sure you're in the right party? Maybe they like you over on the left side. But, it's funny, in thinking about it, we could go down the levels, but I kind of don't even want to talk about Vivek because he truly is a horrific candidate in every way, shape, and form. He didn't go to college in Ohio. He's got no businesses in Ohio. Despite his massive wealth, he's done no philanthropy in Ohio. And there's serious questions about how he's made his money. Because he's never actually really created anything of value. And, I don't know if you saw, but his bodyguard was just arrested on federal drug trafficking charges.
I did see that. That's crazy.
Dude it was like, what, fake Oxycontin with fentanyl in it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And now the whole bodyguard thing, they're all being investigated by pretty serious levels because they're not licensed at all. So Vivek just has all these thugs bringing whatever weapons into all the places that is illegal the whole time. So I have a feeling there's going to be more to that. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's more to it. He's just a horrible candidate. And the funny thing is, if he wasn't wealthy and could also speak decently, what redeeming qualities does he have?
Exactly. He's a fast talker. You got to really pay attention to what he's saying, though, because he can. I don't know. He reminds me a lot of how Obama used to speak. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of fast talking and there was substance in there, but you can tell if you pay attention long enough, he really doesn't believe some of the stuff that he's saying, and that's just my personal opinion, what I've been able to see.
No, he's studying the points. It was pretty clear that he took all of basically Donald Trump's talking points back when he was doing that, running for president. And, I heard about all the people that he was buying for his campaign and where they came from because how he was trying to play it. So it's all gamesmanship. There's nothing organic about it. If the guy really wants to run for governor, and because he cares about Ohio and Ohioans, that's cool. What'd you do in the past that helped Ohio and Ohioans? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like nothing. Excuse me.
Yeah, and it's true. It's nothing. Like, I haven't seen him do anything. I think the only reason he's running for governor is because it didn't work out with Doge. And he went to Doge. That kind of fell apart. And I think it all comes back to, and I don't know if you paid attention to it on Twitter. It wasn't this past December, but it was the December before, right before Trump became president. He came out on Twitter with Elon in support of H-1B visas. And it wasn't the support of the H-1B visas, which I don't like them. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
No, it's totally selling out Ohioans and Americans only for the profiting of corporations to be able to hire cheap foreign labor, period, while creating more competitions for Americans they don't deserve. That's not necessary because we have plenty smart enough and frankly smarter people here. So it's just in the interest of corporations' profitability, and then you destroy the job market because now they're not going to pay everybody as much. It's just bad across the board for America.
Yeah, for sure. And they came out and they were talking about the H-1B visas. It wasn't so much what they said about that, which I thought that was appalling. It was what they said, what Vivek specifically said about Americans. Like, we're too focused on sitcom TV shows and,
I know.
That kind of stuff. So I think that was what kind of woke me up to what the heck he was doing.
Well, I kind of don't even want to talk about Vivek anymore because he's just a garbage candidate, and I don't think he's a very good person. He looks down his nose at Americans. Of course he does. He's a little nerd that wants to be important. So that's all he ever cared about was money. Now he's running for office and he'll say anything so he can be important. Well, he's not. He's never done a darn thing. He didn't design a car that gets over 100 miles a gallon and built with his own two hands. He hasn't spent the last decade of his life putting everything on the line, putting his career on the line, everything else to help do something to fix the American education system and get young people jobs. I did. I also watched Saved by the Bell on a cheap little TV that was this big with aerial antennas back in the day. Well, Sorry, Vivek, everything you said is BS, wrong, or a lie, and I'm here to prove it, like so many other Ohioans. And that's why I'm running, because I actually care. I get it. I'm a Buckeye. My family's been one for generations going back. We care. We've had the struggles. We fought in the wars. We are this land. We are America. We are Ohio. And that's what I care about first and foremost as a people. Vivek doesn't. He's a snake. Everything I see about him just says this man's a snake. Period. And I'll be happy when the day comes that I never hear his name again. Because it means probably we're all going to be a lot better off.
Yep. I agree. All right, well, let's switch gears. I do have a question. I do have a question about, let's talk a little bit about immigration. I mean, because that is like the biggest national news story going on right now is the ICE raids, all that stuff that's going on. As governor of Ohio, when you become governor of Ohio, what is going to be your position on removing illegal immigrants and, helping boost Ohio's economy?
Illegal immigrants, first word is illegal. Therefore, it's a criminal act, and they got to go. So full cooperation with the Trump administration and ICE, period, and coordination. Why? They got to go. But also because by not cooperating and having leftist political activists just making this dangerous and horrible, we're not efficient, and it's become, and just horrible things are happening. So you've got to coordinate. You've got to do it in a way that's efficient so it can be as appropriate and humane and kind as possible. But the fact of the matter is, them all coming in here was not in the best interest of America or Americans, facilitated by people that did not have America's future's best interest in mind at all. So that alone is a hostile act. And removing the people, is that going to be a fun walk in the park? No, it's actually not. But what is the worst thing, is to just let them all stay and ruin this great country. Period. And, we don't need any silly little arguments anymore, but like, hey, 5 of them are really nice and they could be great. Yeah, so could every single one of the young Americans that's doing it right, trying and fighting and want a future. I'm tired of those stupid arguments. I'm tired of the leftists, political activists. I'm tired of the Democrat mayors and the DEI plants on, police organizations and stuff and say, we're not going to cooperate. We're not going to do this. Yeah, well, I don't want Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo, Cincinnati, Dayton to become Chicago.
Yeah.
I'd like Ohio to stay nice. And one of the ways you keep it nice is you keep Ohio for Ohioans so they know they have a future. Why we already have the opportunity for people to legally immigrate. So why in the heck are we facilitating mass immigrations in the past from places like Somalia and Haiti?
Yeah.
That's a dissimilar culture. And last time I checked, and I know this is a little tongue-in-cheek, and I don't mean it to be racially mean, I just mean it matter of fact. Last time I checked, Somalia and Haiti don't build any cool cars. So if you use that as a fun little barometer for their culture, I'm thinking maybe that's not the people that is really going to be in our best interest is to bring in. And I'm thinking the reason that this sort of immigration happens is there's some disgusting political leverage and gains being made that's not in anybody's best interest. And I'm going to be straight up and tell you, I don't like it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's crazy what's going on in Minnesota right now. But I don't think the people of Ohio understand like what's really going on, because I'll say this. I was on Facebook today and I found several like Facebook pages from like the Dayton, Ohio area, Columbus area, and their Facebook groups. And they're groups that are organizing to protest against ICE. And,
where's the money for that come from?
Exactly. It's coming from the other side, the Democrats. I would even venture down even further than that. But, as a Trump supporter myself,
I bet you, by the way,
yeah,
I bet you a nickel that if you look into where the money comes from for all those groups that are protesting and potentially being agitators toward ICE, I bet you're going to find a last name that corresponds to one of the college scholarships that my opponent got.
The Soros.
That's an interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he's been challenged on that a few times, and I will say this: he did say the other day on Twitter that
you sure it was him, or are you sure it wasn't one of his staffers? Because if you recall, he rage quit Twitter and Instagram because people were too mean to him.
I did see that. I might have been one of those people, just to throw that out there. But yeah, he posted something about like whoever like challenges him on that drug, like whatever that, I think it was like an Alzheimer's drug. Which
he's going to sue him?
Yeah, he's going to sue him.
Yeah. That means he's probably going to have me whacked in about 5 minutes.
So, what kind of opposition?
That's a joke. He'll probably sue me for saying that, actually. And that's something with regard to me being governor. I'll be honest, law is something that people don't have good faith in anymore. I have a huge problem with centimillionaires and billionaires that can just lawfare people into oblivion with frivolous lawsuits and such to bankrupt them just because they think it's fun or they can. That shows me as a complete breakdown of our legal system. The fact that we have radicalized judges that let career criminals back on the street. I don't want to see another Irina Zarutska, obviously. That's horrific. The list goes on. Public defenders that have way too high a caseload so that people can't afford a good attorney. They have one appointed to them that really is not going to be able to hold a candle to paid for ones. This is a legal system that's fair and balanced? I don't think so. It's not. It's just not. What do we have for the people anymore? What facilitates innovation? I built a 100-mile-a-gallon car. It's a recyclable concept. It's got a lower carbon footprint per mile than one of old Elon's EVs. There's no help. There's no direction. There's nothing to facilitate anything like that at all. What kind of society do we live in? We've got tariffs for goods that are imported, even Swiss watches. Well, I've been building watches. Like a prototype, got a great pro forma to build a company. And one of my watches up there with the red strap right there meets the NASA requirements for astronaut watches. And we're doing the Artemis missions to go to the moon, and I could supply the astronauts that. But is there any support whatsoever for anybody that isn't already a connected billionaire or centimillionaire to build a company and bring industry back to Ohio and the United States? Because I don't see it. What is happening out there that isn't just us being taken advantage of by bureaucrats becoming bigger and finding ways to ruin us? The data centers. Old Vivek was running on making the Ohio River Valley Silicon Valley. Yeah. And he walks around with his finger up in the air like he's an overly enthusiastic amateur proctologist. You know what I'm talking about? And so I thought about it, and I'm thinking, you're not going to make Ohio River Valley be like Silicon Valley. You got Cincinnati down there, and that's all right, but that area is not set up for it. Well, that's code for we're going to shove data centers up your tailpipe, and you're going to like it. When we have to subsidize the cost of them through skyrocketing electricity bills because of how much they leach on the grid. They have massive tax abatements at 10, 15 years, I'm hearing, so I'm paying taxes. They're $billion-plus projects, yet create very few maintenance jobs that only put a few million into the local economy. That's nothing. The only product they create is heat. So they need ridiculous quantities of fresh water from our aquifers, our rivers, and our Lake Erie with environmental concerns and nothing being done about it. And our idiot politicians saying it's a prestige project when it's not, and it's nothing but a net loss to the people of Ohio stuck in here because it's a stopgap measure because there wasn't enough national foresight of the up-and-coming AI arms race internationally. So we're basically subsidizing the cost and paying for the things that are being put over our heritage sites, 100-plus-year-old farms and beautiful things like racetracks or like the IX Center in Cleveland, and ruining our culture for the thing that the billionaire tech bros are going to want to enslave us. When we see things like unregulated AI trying to come in the big beautiful bill that no state is allowed to push back on for 10 years, unregulated AI, tech bros don't need 10 years. So why would you think that a president would let that happen? Because what happens when a Democrat or somebody from the other party's in? Wouldn't they have full power to do whatever they want? Or maybe it's because they know it's not going to take 10 years, not even going to take 4 years, and it's not going to matter who's in office anymore because it's going to give full power of the world to the tech bros over our United States government. These are the things we're staring down the barrel of, and I hate it.
Yep.
And Vivek is a Trojan horse because he represents only those billionaire globalist interests that have nothing in mind for the best interests of the people of Ohio. And if he ever did care about the people of Ohio, maybe he would have gone to college in Ohio instead of going to Harvard and Yale and having a college scholarship from Soros family money when he was already making, allegedly, $500,000 or more in college. Boy, that's weird. That's a guy that cares so much about Ohio. He wants to be our governor, but he has no businesses in Ohio. No businesses in Ohio. Despite becoming worth another $800 million this year alone, just running for office, using donations from taxpayers, yet not doing anything in Doge, not holding any public office, and not doing anything for the people in Ohio. He has done no philanthropic work in Ohio, not created any schools. Little old me worked the last 11 years, got a Lifetime Achievement Award from both President Trump and President Biden, and I even got to fly with the United States Air Force Thunderbirds because of it, but no support for education from the government. And Vivek's done nothing at all for anybody whatsoever. This is a man who, I'm told, allegedly, some entity relating to him just bought a $5 million home about a block away from the governor's mansion. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, maybe he's
kind of weird, isn't it?
He's already got it.
I don't know. Maybe it's not his, but word on the street. And this is also a man who has no problem telling everybody what he thinks about his thoughts on religion and God, even though he was raised in a Hindu household to Indian foreign nationals, whose mother, if I'm not mistaken, came to the United States while pregnant with Vivek. So he could be born here and get American citizenship just for being born here is the definition of an anchor baby. Yet he gets paid to go to Catholic school, private Catholic school in high school, but he's a proud Hindu. Isn't that weird? Like, freedom of religion. I will fight to the death for your freedom of religion. in the United States of America. But I think that's weird.
Yeah, I would say that's weird.
There is nothing about Vivek or his actions or track record that says he cares in any way, shape, and form about the people of America, most especially about the people of Ohio. Everything about him seems to be nothing more than globalist Trojan horse agenda, reflected in the things that he's talking about and with what's going on right here. Me, I'm different. My family goes back generations. I have fought darn hard to make people's lives literally be better here, and I have. I've built things in industry. I've built businesses, tried to, still trying, my family has too. These are the things that I want to see reflected in my governorship. Fair law for everybody. The ability for people to have some facilitation to innovate. Looking at exactly the things that are roadblocking, bringing manufacturing back to Ohio. And yes, there's some things roadblocking big manufacturers wanting to come here. Because after I got a lot of traction after Tucker Carlson, people wanting to talk about building a car company, everybody that knew anything said we can't do it in Ohio. Because there's some issues, regulations, some other things going on that means nobody wants to build manufacturing in Ohio. That needs to change. The other thing is we're going to get data centers whether we like it or not. So I think it needs to be done in a way with some political leadership, i.e. me, that has the cojones to say we're going to do it, but we're going to do it in the net gain for everybody in Ohio. You want more power? You're going to build the power plants that work for the entire grid, not just so you can import big gas turbines that pump out noxious fumes here because you don't care about our state, our people, or our land. These things have to be looked at for the betterment of all, because the single thing that I care the most about and will advocate for to the end are the people of Ohio. And yes, I'm a Republican, but I darn well mean all the people of Ohio and their future, which also includes being able to afford a home. Not letting private equity companies and corporations buy up massive quantities of private homes so that they can outcompete everybody on the market and then have them all in their portfolio so they can sell a few at higher prices and inflate the market. Making it so politicians don't say anything because, hey, maybe we'll get more income tax revenue. Hey, maybe the normies won't say anything because they think they're worth more and they'll go in debt more for loans against their home. All things that are bad for the future of people. All things that are bad for the future of having a family or making your way. But doesn't that just get us closer to the WEF, World Economic Forum's vision of you'll own nothing and like it because pretty soon you won't be able to own your own private property and you'll have to rent? Don't you think maybe we ought to fight for things like the right to repair so farmers can fix their tractors and people can fix their cars and their houses and their computers? So you don't end up where you can't even work on your own private property? Because if you can't even work on your own private property, do you really even own it?
True.
I care about the people and their power, being people, because that's what the state is. It's the people of Ohio, backed by our great land and our resources. The people are the greatest resource there is, and the government needs to back off. Because last time I checked, everything that I've seen go downhill since I was a kid and take away from the future and the betterment of the culture of everybody here, and everything that's knocked everybody face down in the dirt has been because of the government. And I haven't seen one single darn thing that's made any of our lives better with the government. And I think they need to get out of our way. The other thing you can do is you can axe the property tax on private homes. Why? Because if seniors have worked their entire life to own their own home, and they're on a fixed income and retired and still have to pay property tax, but the government just keeps screwing everything up on purpose, making things cost more, inflation, homes being worth more because of private equity companies and corporations buying them out to where now they have to pay more private property tax, and then all of a sudden seniors can't own their own homes anymore and they get booted. Do they really own their homes, or does the government just let you rent it and then just keep skyrocketing rent out of their own incompetence with everything else? I'm not okay with the government screwing everybody's lives like they have been, because I've done everything right. I've tried to make the future better. I've tried to fix things where the American educational system's a mess, which I know how that's a mess, and I'm going to attack that head on, both K through 12 and universities. It's easy when you know. We have to fight back on the things that are ruining our lives. It's all based in government. They can cry and they can carry on and they can do their stage plays and Plato's Allegory of the Cave, and they can let billionaires come in, say all the right things written for them by speechwriters and political science majors, and talked about Overton window shift and counter signaling your base and all that jazz. Or if you're a real person that actually knows what's in the best interest of everybody because it's been your whole life and your whole family, and you know how it works and how the sausage is made and you don't like it, it could be that, because that's what I am. I'm not manufactured. I'm an Ohioan. I'm a Buckeye. I care about our country and I care about our future. Because I'm sick and tired of feeling like we're all living in the embodiment of that scene from the first Star Wars, where they tried to escape through the garbage compactor chute and ended up with the walls closing in. Well, the walls are closing in on all of us economically, and they're also closing in on us socially. And I don't like it. That's why I'm running against Vivek. He has to be stopped at all costs. Amy Acton is a horrific candidate for the Democrats. That's a woman who resigned as health director because the pressure was too much. And that's what's running to be the governor of Ohio, in charge of the entire economy of the state, in charge of a fleet of F-16s. Don't make me laugh. But it's not funny. It's not funny. It's a cruel joke.
No. I don't really see how they got away with, like, first off, the Republicans, like, pushing Vivek, and then, like, the Democrat candidate isn't any better, and it's like, these are really the two choices that Ohio wants to give us?
It was a perfect storm of idiocy over the years. It really was. It was a perfect storm of idiocy. And in a crazy way, me and my rise with the people on this matter and this movement that I represent is also coming in at a perfect storm. So at the very least, it's going to be a fascinating election to watch, and you should get your popcorn out. But it really is an entertainment. It's interesting, but the truth of the matter is, all of our futures are at stake. And if they weren't, I wouldn't literally be risking the entirety of my life, my livelihood, my family's lives and livelihood. That's not hyperbole. This is insanely dangerous. They can find 11 ways to Sunday to ruin my life and benefit their own, and they will. And I know that, and I had to be okay with it before I ran. I'm really not okay with it, but I'm okay with risking it because we have to. We get the government we deserve, and I know that Ohio deserves a whole lot better than Vivek or Amy. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Have you received any kind of what kind of pushback have you received so far since you
aside from death threats from Indians?
I didn't know you were getting those already.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I don't think Indians can shoot real well.
No,
that's a joke. It's not funny. It's not a funny joke though. No, that does exist. Pushback, not much. Just trolls. It's funny, a lot of the pushback are actually Indian foreign nationals. The Ohio GOP and the GOP and those relating to Vivek, I'm hoping, are smart enough to not hit back, or at least now, because of what's known as the Barbra Streisand effect. I know they're researching the heck out of me to find any potential weakness in any way, shape, and form, and trying to figure out how they can plan my ruination to be in their favor. And I knew this early on, that aside from the man upstairs hopefully having my back, I'm gambling that they hopefully will know it's not in their best interest to ruin me, because the contrast between me and Vivek is stark.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm being really honest with you. Honestly, my campaign's probably going like, Casey, this is too honest. But, the fact of the matter is, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it for real and for the betterment of everybody, I'm going to be honest about it. But, and the other truth of the matter is, I actually have a legitimate chance right now. A legitimate chance. And it's actually pretty fascinating to watch people within the establishment that's way beyond being bureaucratic or in any way in the best interest of people squirming. Because they know they've made a mistake with Vivek, at the very least endorsing him so early on. And by virtue of me coming out that was unexpected and being such great contrast, in a good way, for the people of Ohio, as a conservative, as a Republican, toward this choice of Vivek, scares the heck out of them, because they know they made a terrible choice and now everybody's looking at it. But
so I got a question. Can you pull a John Fetterman? Like,
in what way do you mean?
John Fetterman was running as senator against Dr. Oz, and Dr. Oz was endorsed by President Trump. So can you pull a John Fetterman? Kinda. It's kinda like that. Not exactly similar. But what do you think it would take for Trump to revoke his endorsement from Vivek and put it on somebody else. Do you think that's 100%? Like he's 100%
I'll tell you
behind
this.
Vivek?
Let's dissect this a bit. What actually is Vivek's endorsement from Trump? How did that manifest? What is that?
I was going to say, I thought it was some kind of tweet or a true social post.
A tweet.
Yeah.
Wow. A whole tweet? You mean somebody went doodly doodly doody. This guy, this is a swell guy. He should be in charge of millions of people and $100 billion. Wow. Well, you know, I got something else from Donald Trump in 2018. It's called Lifetime Achievement Award. And I got a real nice certificate with his signature on it, and I got an enameled badge, hangs on my wall, and I got a pin. And I got that for helping young people volunteer for thousands of hours in Ohio and get jobs. Vivek got a tweet. I earned mine helping people. So I think I've got a better presidential endorsement from Donald Trump. And I think they don't like that I'm saying that because they know the people realize mine is worth more. And I got mine first. So in terms of Trump, he's not a dumb guy. But establishment, they want to double down. So they're going to wait to see if I keep going, I can take the slings and arrows. They're going to wait to see if I can talk. They're going to wait to see what I got and that I'm on the ballot. Then they're going to start having to make some decisions. And that's going to come because the other thing is Vivek is faltering a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
He's writing terrible articles. They're changing the titles of in the New York Times. They're basically leftist propaganda pieces to say everybody's racist if you don't like him when you're not. We just objectively don't like him for his work and lack of interest in the people. His speeches being condescending to the American people. The fact that there's articles written by like The Blaze that say the only thing I want for Christmas is for Vivek Ramaswamy to stop embarrassing the GOP, which is basically a scorching indictment of everything that is him. The fact that his bodyguards were not licensed bodyguards and are basically just weapon-toting henchmen, carrying them illegally, presumably, in all the places they're not allowed. One of which was dealing that has now under arrest for a federal drug trafficking charge of bootleg Oxycontin laced with fentanyl, from what I'm reading. This is Vivek. Vivek, that there is a private aircraft with an N number apparently associated to him that tracks from Ohio to the Turk and Caicos Islands. We got really nice beaches in America. What's he doing in the Turk and Caicos Islands?
Yeah, that was crazy.
They've got some interesting business structures down there. And he's a billionaire. That's really weird. Doesn't look real good. This is the guy that's supposed to represent Ohioans? This is the guy the whole GOP's behind? Yeah. You know, Elon's behind him too. But what's Vivek ever made? Heck, I made a car that outcompetes Elon's. So I'm really wondering how long they're going to keep endorsing it, because eventually as this keeps going, there was somebody that commented early on, kind of prophetic, that said, you know, the most interesting thing about Casey against Vivek in Ohio, which is a very prominent state, against Vivek, who's a billionaire, and was a presidential candidate, and me, I'm a normie, this is going to make national headlines, and already is. And at some point, Trump's going to have to say something about it, and this person wrote, and that's the moment we're going to find out if Donald Trump is wearing a skin suit or actually cares about the American people.
I've been questioning that, and I was going to tell you earlier. I've been a Trump supporter for 10 years. Okay, the last year has been me being the most critical I've ever been of Trump.
Me also.
And I'm like, dude, where is 2016 Trump at?
In 2016.
Yeah,
no, he's still.
Where is he?
You know, Trump's the leader of our nation, leader of our military, and I certainly support him with that. Obviously, I want America to prosper and last forever for the right reasons for all the people here. But I'm telling you what, there's been some things that are deserving of criticism where everybody stands on the tables and shouts to heaven, this is not a good move.
Yeah.
There has. And fortunately, we have freedom of speech, so we can say that. I've voted for him every time. I donated to his campaign. But darn it, if I see something wrong happening, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now that I'm running, I might do it a little more diplomatically. But I'm going to talk about it. So I'm running because it has to be done. We the people of America, especially the people of Ohio, we can't afford government to just keep ruining our lives, because that's all I've ever seen. and we have to push back for the right reasons for us. And our choices right now are two horrific choices between Amy Acton and Vivek Ramaswamy. So I'm just bringing all the good conservative values that I was raised with by generations of men and women who had to take responsibility for themselves and build a family and build a community and hope for tomorrow and build that. And I'm just putting it on the line because we have to do that. We have to step up with our civic duty and exercise our rights to be a government that ends up being for the people because it's by the people. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like last time, with Mike DeWine and Nan Whaley, the last time, we elected a governor. Like, the choices weren't very good there either, in my opinion. So I feel like this has been like a progressive issue in Ohio. It's like, I feel like this state has just like completely started to fall apart from when I was around in the 90s.
Yeah, I hate to be critical for him being a Republican, but I'm not happy with DeWine.
No.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. And the fact that he endorsed Vivek recently when he wasn't gonna, it's just like, okay, I get it. You're a sellout to the same disgusting globalist bureaucrat. But I would encourage more people to look at their offices and run, because at the end of the day, it's possible. I was basically a guy with a YouTube footprint, kind of a normal guy, but I took the leap of faith. The people are behind it. We're gaining traction every day, big traction, and we have a legitimate shot here. So I would encourage everybody to give more consideration for the right reasons to run for your elected office and affect positive change.
Yeah, for sure, and that's something that I've been thinking a lot about myself here lately is getting involved in politics, and to be totally honest, I was sitting down with my wife I think it was about 3-4 months ago. I sat down with her. I was like, I don't even know where to start, to be totally honest. Like I'm just talking about like local stuff, like city council stuff like that. Like, I don't even really know where to start. Like so I got to try to figure all that stuff out. That's something I want to do, at least for the little town that I live in, to keep it the way I want it to stay.
You should. You think about it. Give serious consideration. And the other thing I hope everybody knows, and this is something I've really learned, it's not a zero-sum game. Just by virtue of you running, going to places, speaking about issues that are important, hey, maybe you'll be right about every single thing, or maybe you'll have some bad takes too. But just by virtue of exercising your First Amendment rights and running for office, you're creating value to the world by bringing topics up that matter, maybe going against things that are wrong, and that's helpful. So even if you run for an office and you don't win, you're probably actually helping the world by taking part in our government the way the Founding Fathers intended. So that's my little nugget of wisdom I took from this. But I do have to say something, and I hope you'll forgive me. I had better end this podcast soon, or we are going to stress my relationship with my wife, because we haven't eaten dinner yet, and she's been waiting for the last quite a while.
Yeah, you're fine, man. I appreciate you coming on. I wish you nothing but the best. I'll be in contact with you. Maybe we can get you on some other time right before. The primaries are when? In May?
Thank you. Yes, it's May 5th, the Ohio Republican primary. It's actually an open election, so anybody can come and get a Republican ballot and vote.
All right, so I'll be in contact with you. Have a good night. Hey, go enjoy your dinner with your wife. All right?
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully she won't be too grumpy at me.
It was nice talking to you.
Thank you. And you can go to putschforohio.com. You can donate there. You can also volunteer and reach out. We're doing the best we can. We're getting deluged by interest, so in some ways we're slow. Please don't take that personally. Just realize it's a good thing for all of us if it takes us a while. And of course, we have rallies and events coming up. Got one tomorrow, got one Thursday, got a fun one on Saturday. Those are all going to be Northeast Ohio, so we kind of go in spurts. And we're just finishing up getting signatures, so it's going to be a good year. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Bye now.
Yep, bye. All right, so there you go. That was Casey Putsch, candidate for governor of Ohio. I'm excited about it. I'm glad he came on. I'm glad he gave us the time we needed. If anybody understands eating dinner with the wife and doing stuff with the family and putting them first, It's definitely me, so I understand. I just appreciate the time he gave us. So in the comments section, what did you guys think? Let me know. Drop some comments in here. I'm gonna give me 1 second. I wanted to look at my X account real quick. See if I ever did go live. I meant to check it before I came on. Yes, I did. All right. Changes happen in the small increments. Let's go through some of these chats. What does Casey think of Trump rolling back cafe standards? Well, we didn't get to ask him that one. Why do I feel like I can't hear anything or somebody can't hear me? I feel like as soon as he dropped off, I feel like my audio went out. JLab input. All right. So everything's working. I feel like my volume got quiet. Oh. I don't go up that high. Oh shit, man, bringing up Jeff Sessions. The Russians at Jeff Sessions in 2015 in Roberts over 2 courts would not let Granny Grant Narc sign the community service worker server for a... What the fuck are we talking about? Alright, so... The only reason that's true, bro. The only reason the Republican GOP goes for Vivek is because they see dollar signs. Correct. All right, so I want to see how many people I had watching on Rumble. All right, so if there's not really any comments or anything in the chat, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I just appreciate him coming on and giving us the time that we needed to talk to him and shit. That was fun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop off here. I appreciate you guys coming through. Go check out Casey's website for his campaign. Contribute if you can. Come out and support if you can, especially if you live in Ohio. Let's get Vivek out of there, man. Let's make him... I've gotten to the point where every time he posts something on social media, I just say some outlandish shit. It's not really outlandish, it's true. But I try to be to the point, hey, we don't want you here. We don't want you as governor in Ohio, period. So, I just appreciate Casey stopping through and giving us some time. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. I think we're done here. All right. So I appreciate everybody watching, jumping in the chat. Oh, shit. Hold up. Oh, okay. Dropped his channel. Thanks. I appreciate that, HBR. HBR dropped his channel in the chat if you want to go check that out. And then his channel will also have his campaign website as well. Yeah, he was laid back and just had common sense. Yeah. And that's what Ohio needs, to be totally honest with you. We need a common sense candidate. And usually those aren't the ones that the fucking GOP and the Democrats support, in my opinion. They push out these people that lack common sense. But I'm hoping for the best with Casey. I'm hoping that he can gain enough momentum to remove Vivek. And then I don't think he'll have a problem winning governor over the Democrat because she's an idiot. That's just my opinion. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate you guys coming through. Have a blessed evening. God bless you guys. God bless your family. And God bless the United States of America. I'm out.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flag.